Hello and welcome to Political Paradigm. I'm Terry Ikumi. Today I'm joined by a distinguished senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria who chairs the Committee of the Senate on Women Affairs and senator representing the Federal Capital Territory, Senator Ireti Kingibe. Welcome to Political Paradigm.
My pleasure being here.
The last time we spoke was about a year ago. I think we were trying to assess your first year in office. Now it's 2 years in office. So I think that's a good place to begin with, considering the fact that you haven't granted an interview in the past months. So I would like to know from you what your experience is in the Senate for a first timer, 2 years in, and also considering the poor representation of women in Parliament.
Well, obviously, the last time we spoke was a year ago. 1 year later, I'm able to maneuver my way better in the Senate. I have built relationships with my colleagues, and I'm faring, let's put it this way, I'm not as intimidated. I've been able to hold my own in the Senate, and that's what I can say about my relationship in the Senate. In terms of, I feel that the people of FCT are not doing as well as they can. Not with regards to me. I have, in the last 2 years, I have brought several motions. Right now, I have a gender bill for gender equity, more women in all spheres of life. It's going to go to second reading. And I feel that it is not just about women, it is about the whole country. I have had to go to a lot of conferences and things that I didn't really want to go to, or I was co-opted into it, because it is now the policy in all international parliaments and fora that any country that does not have women in their delegation is not properly represented, and therefore they do not let us participate. So we are ranking at the bottom of everything globally in terms of women. So it is in the interest, national development and the interest of the nation, for us to have more women represented. The world has left us behind in that respect. Africa, of which we're supposed to be the giant, have all definitely left us behind in terms of women representation. The Senate, nothing can be done about the fact that there are only 4 of us until the next election, but there's this constitutional amendment that we are all hoping will scale through, 74 special seats, which should run for 4 cycles and will have a sunset clause after 16 years, where each state and the FCT will have 1 additional senator and 1 additional House of Rep member. If the constitutional amendment passes, that should come on board. I'm not sure whether it can come on board before 2027. If it does, it will be excellent. It's also the 35%, which I know that the Senate, as well as the House, I believe, are all aware of the problem and collectively would like to see that particular bill pass also. So, in terms of me, I'm giving them the best representation I can, but I'm seriously challenged by the fact that normally the people of the FCT fare well when the minister, and anyway, until now, male ministers have always recognized the fact that the senator was elected by the people and is the highest elected representative of the people.
If I may come in here, because we want to be able to take certain things one after the other. I just want to finish up with the aspect of women representation in Parliament. You're the chairperson
of Women Affairs
of the Senate. What sort of engagements have you had, and what are the observations that you've made along the way?
Well, we've gone to the Commission for the Status of Women. NILS has a lot of program in sensitization, UN Women, all these things. Talk shop, as I call them, we've always had them. But we're hoping that this time it translates into measurable action. So that's what I can say. We have, and I have also noticed that, oh yes, sometimes the men think I harass them a little bit on the subject of women. But I must say that, at least in the Senate, they've become cooperative. If I go and say, you don't have any women in your committee, they will go and co-opt one or two if they can. But you have to understand that they are also challenged in how to get 4 women into everything. It's not actually feasible. Right now, the ECOWAS has just amended their rules to say that every country must have 30% female representation in its delegation. We have met that, but I assume we will. Between the House and the Senate, we can make up 30% of 35, which is, we have the largest delegation. So there are many issues that will come up if we do not fix this gender issue.
Okay, let's go to FCT representation now, because there's a lot of talk ongoing now. And some are beginning to raise concerns. You know, the people of the FCT trusted you in 2023 and kicked out Senator Aduda, who they call the landlord of the FCT. But there have been concerns down the line, 2 years in. I read an article that said that FCT residents argue that since you assumed office, you have failed to bring meaningful development to the people of the FCT. You have been embroiled rather in inconsistent and unpredictable politics. How do you respond to this?
What do you mean by development? I'm a legislator. I only make laws. I'm also an opposition senator who has to fight sometimes to be allowed to speak. I must say that situation has changed as they've gotten to know me and I've gotten to know them. And also I get to be quite disruptive when I'm not allowed to speak and I feel it is my right and FCT needs it. But at the end of the day, I'm only one person. The minister is the person who is entrusted to bring development because he represents the president, who's the de facto governor of FCT. Now, yes, he's building roads, but we don't have public transport, so the bulk of Abuja residents do not benefit from the roads. He's building things like ICC. How does that concern the bulk of Abuja residents when there's so much insecurity? The FCDA workers are not paid. The women who were sweeping the streets, they have done so through several ministers. Their situation was always protected because they were indigent women, widows. It was our way of ensuring that they got. So whenever any minister comes along and wants to replace them with street sweepers, the trucks, we talk to him and say, no, we need them to do this. He leaves it. The current minister came without consultation with anybody. Or in fact, not without consultation, in spite of imploration. He fired them all. He has not replaced them with anything. So FCT has had a minister who most FCT residents will say came to work against them and make life as difficult as possible. Development. FCT senator or any senator does not have a budget. We're legislators. In fact, the only reason that the FCT senator gets involved in more things than the average senator is because she's the one that everybody complains to. Oh, we need a transformer. We don't have water. This is happening. Some people complain to me, snakes, and that there's some agricultural research place near them. So there are snakes coming to them. Who do they write to? Me. And in the past, the senator will say to the minister, these are the demands and the needs of the people. But a minister that does not recognize the elected senator can't do anything. And the former senator, 3-term senator who cannot say he does not know the issues of the FCT, has full access to this minister and yet does not give him any of the necessary information or insistence that, okay, fine, since you have undemocratically decided to replace Senator Kingibe with me in your eyes, do this, do this, do this. So why would you hold me responsible for lack of development?
We will come to governance in the FCT? Because you've mentioned quite a lot of things about this FCT, Minister, and we understand the issues between both of you. But there's something else that...
I don't understand the issues between us, so maybe one of you can enlighten us. Considering I'd never met him before he came here. So I have never understood why there should be an issue between us for governance.
Okay, that's another thing we will come to, because that is a whole conversation with regard to the people before the people of the FCT. But I'm curious because one of the things that we know that legislators do is constituency projects and engagements. So for someone like you who's perhaps struggling with the FCT ministers, so to speak, what are some of the obstacles that you have faced in implementing your constituency projects? Because I do know that you have put out some information about some of the projects that you've embarked on. What obstacles have you faced when implementing your constituency projects?
I have not faced any obstacles. I just feel that I don't have enough because I just get the barest minimum.
So financial obstacles?
Yes. Oh, financial obstacles. Of course, I'm an opposition senator, so I only get exactly what I'm entitled to. I don't get any extras. Whereas other states in the past, extra privileges were always given to the senator of FCT, and some chairmen do. Some because the other states have 3 senators. FCT has only 1. So let me say, for instance, you're distributing 2 trucks of fertilizer per senator. Okay? Most states get 6. FCT will get 2. Unless you find a reasonable person who says, some people will say, Senator Kingibe times plus 2. Meaning that FCT will get the same amount. So FCT is greatly disadvantaged. And that is a structural thing. And also stemming from a minister who doesn't really care. Most ministers, because of the pressure from the senator, will now find a way to ensure that the people do not lose out.
Well, when you say you don't have the cooperation of the FCT minister, it's understandable, as bad, as sad as it may seem. But do you have the cooperation of the people of the FCT?
For the most part, but they're also hamstrung. Short of me telling them, complain, be unruly, scatter the ground, sit at home, which at this point, I believe if I do tell them, they will do. But they feel, in the last few months, I gave it some thought and I said, okay, at the end of the day, all I want is for my people to benefit. If being less antagonistic to the minister would help bring development to the people, then fine. So I decided that in spite of the things that I don't like that he's doing, I will minimize my public criticism of him. It's not made any difference because he has an emperor mentality. He just thought, oh, I've got her, end of matter. And things are even worse. Because at least in the first year I was senator, he paid the salaries of the FCDA people. Now they're not even being paid. A lot of things that should be done ab initio and not getting done. So the people, my constituency projects, nothing stops them. They get done. And I can proudly say in my 2 years of being a senator, and the people of the FCT can verify it, I have done more constituency projects than almost any other senator. In fact, not almost any other senator. The senator who has served the longest, the last 12 years, has not even done half of what I've done, simply because I have goodwill towards the people. I bring everything that is given to me. I lobby extras. Ministers are in the order of protocol, maybe like 3 senators are maybe 3 levels above them. We have said, oh, senators should not go to ministers. They should not this because you and them are not on the same level. I go to ministers if it will make you do things for my constituency. I go to heads of agencies to say, please, this thing needs to be done in my constituency. Please do them, because I'm the only voice, of course, the House of Rep members as well, that they have. The minister is about visible things. The bulk of the people do not live in Central Business District or in Maitama or in Asokoro. They live in the rest of Abuja, where Very little is going on. Okay, they say roads are being built. The truth of the matter is, some very long road, they'll do 9 kilometers, they commission it, is done. I know it's not done. I have drawn photographs to that effect. But it doesn't matter. There are times when even a minister who cares, a grader, just a grader, will work wonders on rural roads. So it's not about the amount of money that is necessarily spent. Some of these things cost very little.
So you think that the minister hasn't done well, despite all the projects? He's just concluded, I think, a 17-day project commissioning. And I know that I have gone through...
You care to tell me what they are? Roads, ICC, all those things. Please tell me how that puts food on the table of the people.
So the point is, there are those who are commending him.
Yes, I commend him too for those ones.
For these projects.
Oh,
There are those who also say that give him time. And under his post, I've seen quite a number of comments saying the man may be arrogant, but he is doing well. And if other ministers had done as much as he, or it's a little of what he had done, would probably be on the next level.
I disagree. If you ask any FCT person who has been the minister who has performed the most in the FCT, they will tell you El-Rufai. Why? El-Rufai built roads. He also responded to the needs of the people. I think conservatory. So I asked for, and I was not a senator, I was just a major stakeholder, a troublemaker and busybody. On my say-so, he built 50 boreholes. I can't tell you how many he had in his. El-Rufai was also the sort of minister, when the people have a major problem, it did not take the senator, it took common people like me to say, oh, the place you have moved the abattoir to, there's no infrastructure. They cannot go there. There's no security, there's no water, there's no this. Can you please give them a little time? I asked for 4 months, he gave them 4 years. So being a successful minister isn't just about infrastructure. People, look at the insecurity. A few days ago, a patient was discharged from Cedar Crest, the hospital. On his way back, going home, he was hacked to death. Dead people do not use roads.
The minister has responded to issues of security and says that there are certain pockets of violence here and there, and it's synonymous the world over, but that 1 or 2 incidents should not make it seem as though the FCT is unsafe.
It is unsafe. It is not just...
You think the FCT is unsafe?
Yes. Go out at 10 o'clock at night and see how many cars you see on the road. Everybody's run indoors. The FCT is unsafe. I have lived here since 1988. The FCT is unsafe.
What do you expect from the minister? Also considering that this is where the president is as well.
Yes.
And the president controls the security agencies.
And because this is where the president is, because this is where the National Assembly is, this is the nation's capital. It cannot be on the level of, oh, there's pockets of insecurity here and there. There was once I could get up and go to Gwagwalada at midnight. If I tried it now, even with my armed guards, I may be lucky to get back alive. So don't tell me. Ask the average man on the street how secure he feels. My cook, a few days ago, he doesn't live far. He lives just down the road from me. They took his homes in. Anytime my children go out, I cannot sleep. So that is us. We are the elites. We have armed guards. We have police. We have everything. If you walk around, as I do sometimes, walk around the neighborhood, Maitama, all those places, almost every other gate has armed policemen. So where are the police to now guard the rest of the country and the rest of you? So at the end of the day, it is unsafe. The minister has to be more receptive to the needs of the people. Then he will know where the lapses are.
You represent the people. Mm-hmm. And for many, you're supposed to communicate some of the concerns of the people to the minister, and you're supposed to work together with the minister. Now, ordinarily, anyone would have thought that over time, there would have been an improvement in the relationship between you and the minister of the FCT for the benefit of the people of the FCT. And it prompts the question, why is there no relationship? You're both opposition lawmakers, as your opposition members as it stands. He's working with other opposition members. Why is it that both of you are not working together You don't take responsibility for that, I dare say.
No.
So at what point...
I have reached out to him so many times. Recently, I was pushed, so I called the minister directly. And lately, I've taken to writing some letters to him. I must say he doesn't even respond to them. Okay? Now, I've never written the minister and I got a response from him. So recently, I called him. I said, this. I didn't even say you. I said, FCDA people are about to do X, Y, and Z. I'm telling you, they must not do that. For this reason, this reason, this reason. Okay, I believe that the line may have cut off because I claim he put the phone down on me. He claims I put the phone down on him. But I must say that I spoke to the Senate president. I said, you know what? I have tried my best to get along with the minister. As long as the minister treats me and everybody in the FCT with disregard, contempt, and levity, we're not going to make any progress.
Is it politics?
Why should it be politics?
No, I'm asking, do you think it is politics?
No, it is his character. I am sorry, if you look at the FCT, lots of ministers and senators do not come from the same party because FCT has always been renegade and they vote how they want, regardless of what the center, what the party is in the center or how the people have voted in the center. Do you understand? So, but every minister comes recognizing the fact that this person was elected by the people that I'm supposed to administer on behalf of the president. Do you understand? And defer to the things he wants. I remember the last minister gave certain concessions to the last senator. We, all the APC people, we marched up to him in arms. That, oh, why? He's opposition, he's this. He said, no. He's the senator representing this place. He's the person the people of FCT have voted for. And therefore, what he says and what he wants and what he says should be carries weight with me. Case closed. And we all saw his points and we dropped it.
I want us to be a little detailed with regard to what sort of working relationship should exist between you and the minister. One of the things we do know about governors is that they would require certain buying of their lawmakers for certain approvals. I want to know directly if at any point you've been bypassed by the FCT minister for anything.
I have never bypassed. I've never had anything with him. He disregards the fact that they're representatives of the people.
What I'm saying is what should be
what should
that
be,
isn't.
Let me tell you some of the norms that there is, okay? One, regular sit-downs between the minister and the representatives. So they table to him the issues of the people. And he looks into them. I have a whole file that I labeled FCT, Honorable FCT Minister, because those are things. If an area, a community tells me that their children get knocked down because they have to cross a 6-lane highway, they need a pedestrian crossing over there. It's the minister who's going to put it. I've tried to look at it, but the cost was prohibitive for me, the senator. So there are certain things. There are some communities where you just need a certain amount of money to put pipes, to connect from their community to the major water board, and several villages, like in Gwagwalada, will get water. There's so many like that. He can't know this place the way we do. Do you understand? Because he's not from here. And that is why there has to be synergy. Now, the last time I reached out to him, I even asked him, are you in your office? Let me come and see you. He said no. Okay? I told the Senate president that. And I laughed. I said, well, this is a problem you need to solve. And when the phone cut off, I called the Senate president. I said, I promise you, if this is not resolved, I will be so unruly. You are the one who gets the brunt of my unruliness, not Wike. I don't interact with him. I don't know him. And immediately the Senate president put us on a 3-way call and we resolved it. Now, that should not be the way it should be firefighting. If there was more regular interaction between us, I would have tabled the issues. The guy from the Abuja South will table his. The one from Amak Buhari will table his. But there's nothing.
Is he meeting with them?
I doubt it, because they've spoken to me about it, that he has disregard for them too, that at least you don't have anything to do. They have tried more than I have. I do not like cheek and disrespect.
Are you all supposed to be carried along in the budgeting process of the FCT?
Of course.
Are you
and usually,
along?
of course not. Of course not. I don't even want to go into this particular budget. The previous one was passed without my knowledge. And it will not be unfair to say that I asked for that budget. It took almost 6 months to a year for me to be given a document that has already been passed. So it doesn't make any sense. At the end of the day, as I told the people, and I stopped complaining because they all started thinking that, oh, Senator Reti Kingibe is looking for something. There's nothing Senator Reti Kingibe wants or has not achieved at the age of 71. Do you understand? My children are grown. I'm not looking for school fees. I'm not looking for a house. I live in Maitama, which is prime real estate. I've lived here for the last 25, 30 years. There's nothing. But I became a senator to give back to the people. It cannot work when half of the main player of the team has disregard for the people. Because I see it that way. Otherwise, why will you not pay salaries? Why not? It's as basic as it gets. Do you understand? And there are so many places where when I put boreholes in certain places, this 21st century, we shouldn't be putting boreholes and the people are applauding us over boreholes in the capital. Children, fine, the children have been out of school but for 4-5 months. Granted, it's not the minister who's supposed to pay. But the local government chairmen have all behaved the way they wanted, because in the past, between the representatives in the National Assembly and the minister, they could call the local government chairman to order. Now, everybody is a warlord. Do you understand? So, and at the end of the day, yes, I do commend him for the things he's done. But if I say that a lot of the people, when you're starving, you don't care whether the road is good, your children can't go to school, I can go on a whole litany of problems.
So in areas like education, healthcare,
agriculture, 5 of the local governments out of the 6 are agrarian. Even in this budget that I commended and said, okay, fine, paper technically is a decent budget. But you and I need to sit down and talk about the areas I feel more effort should be put in. Like, I think there should have been more money in healthcare, more money in education, more money in agriculture. Of course, being the person that he is, I gave a concession by not denigrating, speaking about the details of the budget at the recorded budget hearing. Do you think he cared after that? Even when I called him, do you think that he bothered to say, okay, Senator, what are those issues? Let us table them. Of course not.
Do you have issues with the budget?
Yes, I've just told you what the issues I have are. Generally, it's a good budget, but there should have been more money in agriculture. There should be more money, because there are some monies that are not specified, that we can specify. But no, after that, please, who is she? And you know, what upsets me the most is that the people of the FCT, ab initio, did not have anything against Senator Tinubu. We always respect the presidents because they are our de facto senator. But we've, in the hearts and minds of the people of FCT, I'm sorry, the Honorable Minister has demarketed the president so much here. People's lands are taken, and without any, due process. Even let's look at this ground rent. I made them go and buy me the papers, all of them. Even the amount that was paid to put all those things in the paper has taken out a huge chunk of the ground rent that you are trying to collect. And he's not the first minister FCT has had. In the past, And it's not his fault. It started with the previous minister. I was hoping that when he came, we would sit down, say, okay, this has been a lapse, this has been a lapse, this has been a lapse. You can fix it by doing A, B, C, D. You understand? But of course not. You expect every resident of Abuja to go and stand in line in ages to collect their bill. When has that ever happened? It's not global best practices. I have also written a very decent letter. I can give you, make the copy of it public. I just don't do that. Telling him that these are the issues. You cannot suspend it. Let's do work out a proper framework. Of course, he will not respond. So the people of FCT should tell me how Senator Kingibe, who does not have a budget for all the things, they go to hospital, no drugs, they do this, how is she supposed to do it when the person who's holding the money does not want to hear what they need? I have letters I can show you, because when they need things, it's me they write to. Recently, one of my aides said to them, why are you bringing it to the senator? The senator is a legislator. She is not executive. All these things should go to the minister. They laughed, said, Madam, how do we get to the minister?
Is it inaccessible?
Completely to the people. And in fact, one of them said the things are not even collected. But that Senator Kingibe, when we write her, she responds. She also says she'll see what she can do. I put it in a file to be discussed with the Senate, with the Minister of the FCT, if a day ever came when he knows that there are people here with needs.
So, Senator Kingibe, we've seen the minister engage with traditional leaders who commend him for reaching out to their people. I'm curious if you are the only one who is dissatisfied.
That is not true. The traditional leaders, the ministers can remove and put traditional leaders as they feel like. No traditional leader is not going to pay lip service to any minister. It is people like us who cannot affect their lives that get to hear the real issues. Half of the things that happen in all their domains, how do I know? I get told. I get told. So no traditional leader anywhere is going to complain or denigrate. If you say clap for me, they will. But for the most part, the traditional rulers of FCT are apolitical. The way FCT is, they control no votes.
Do you get to meet with these traditional rulers?
Oh, yes, I meet with them one-on-one. I sometimes meet with them collectively in my house, though lately, because of the fear of him, I have minimized my collective interactions with them. But I meet with them one-on-one.
Is it fear for them or for you?
Me, the minister cannot do anything to me.
So you fear for their safety? I fear
for their safety, for their seats, for their... So they have so many needs. How come he hasn't met them? I'm the one they tell. We need this to be done. We need that to be done.
So this clearly suggests, from what you said, that the people understand the real problem, and that perhaps what we hear, that they are unhappy with you, may not be entirely true. Even though there are those who believe that this is a litmus test for you. They expect me to be the one.
They expect me to be the one to give them the things they do not have because they elected me. It takes a lot of explanation, town hall meetings and things like that to tell them that I cannot fix your road. I am a legislator. He is the one who has the money to fix your road. I cannot give you water. I cannot give you light. I cannot give you security. Do you understand? They voted for me.
But you have given some form of light.
Oh, yes, but it's a spit in the bucket. Yeah. I give solar lights. Okay, I pick communities. Like now, I noticed that when you go to Wuse and all those places where you have those high rises, it's all pitch dark. Most of Abuja is pitch dark. Do you understand? So I go there, put solar lights in between the places, light up the place so that young people will at least have... you can't keep them at home, so they'll at least be safer. They will come give me awards, commend me for looking out for them. It's not that he wouldn't have done it too, except he doesn't know what they need. I know Karu Market is pitch dark. I put lights there. Communities will write to me. There's so much insecurity around this place. A few lights will make a difference. I put it. Solar lights are cheap, but how many can I put? For where I can put one, the minister can put 1,000. Do you see the difference? So,
If the people know this much about you, and considering the politics that's playing out, and the minister going about saying that you definitely will not be returning in 2027,
you know,
do you think
I was not
the people
interested
will
in
re-elect
running. You want to bet? I get told all the time. The few times I have mentioned that I'm actually not interested in going back to the Senate in 2027, you should have heard the brouhaha. I know for certain that were I to decide to run, it's a brouhaha. It's a shoe-in. Now, let me tell you something. Local government elections is coming early next year. That is when the people of the FCT show ministers, we like you or we do not like you. And that has always been the way they've operated. There have been some ministers who can coax us into, okay, I just came, please, just, and we do. After the first time, we're not happy with you. Next time around, do we vote for them? No. That is when.
Well, based on performance, between you and a minister in a little capacity that you've been able to, bearing in mind those who have always said Senator Kingibe is not doing anything, she's just fighting politics, but you're explaining how tied your hands are and your responsibilities, the limitations of your responsibilities. If you decide to run again, you've not decided that you want to seek re-election.
Yes.
If you decide to seek re-election, do you believe you will win?
I know that I will win in a landslide victory,
Despite
bigger than the last one. And the last one, to bear in mind that I went to the Senate with one of the highest, if not the highest vote of any legislator. And it was not just about Obi. Yes, he brought some votes, but I also brought certain votes to him that would not have normally gone to him.
The dilemma here is if the minister is retained, if the president wins again, you would have to still work with him. But so I'm going to ask you, David.
The local government election is going to tell whether Wike controls FCT, because nobody does. And it's only people who have lived here for a long time know that the people of the FCT have their independent mind. And it's people who live here, you walk on the streets and you will know that the one thing that unites us all in the FCT is our resentment of the minister. It's not just about development. It's about treating us with levity, treating us with disregard and contempt.
Do you think the people of the FCT resent Mr. Wike?
You can go and then you're obviously not on the streets. If you are, you would know.
Okay. Fair enough.
Remember, I go into the communities, I talk to people. That is, they come to me as well. We have never felt, most ministers come here with their own agenda, but we've never felt as disregarded as this time. And it's not about me. Do you understand? Minister Wike does not impact on me personally. I'm in the Senate. I'm completely insulated from him and his. But I only feel him in the pain of my communities and my constituency.
Do you agree with those who say he gives the president a bad image?
Oh, most definitely. Let me tell you, I've always loved and cared for the president. Personally, because he's been my friend for the last 40 years. And I would have never openly come to fight against the president, but I am furious that he actually thought that somebody with the character of the honorable minister would have made a good emissary for the FCT.
You want a different minister?
I think almost anybody would have done better, because most people treat the people that they administer over or that they lead with some modicum of respect. Regardless of what you're going to go and say about them privately, what you think, publicly, you do not denigrate them or treat them with contempt. And we have been treated with great contempt in the FCT.
All right. Let's move away from the FCT and talk about you, your party, and the future of your party, your political career. Or we all saw you at the ADC coalition. And we've been hearing conversations from various people regarding that coalition. I know you're still a member of the Labour Party.
Yes, I am, but I support the ADC.
Exactly. So I want to get details of what that coalition is about from your perspective.
Well, the truth about the matter is that Labour Party is in some sort of a quagmire. And it may not be, we're trying to put it together, but I do not see Labour Party in the present way it is as a vehicle that can actually go on and win any election. Okay? It's been definitely very fractured and broken. Now, as we have done in the past, because I've told you I've always been part of opposition, we got together and put together APC. For one thing, my big interest in getting headlong into it is because we have local government elections coming. There's APC boasting and bragging about how election results are already ready. This is that. The other one, they will win 100% whether we like it or not. Nobody wins whether the people like it or not. They win with the consent of the people. And so we needed a platform. Labour Party would have been that platform, but it was broken. There are two factions of Labour Party right now, of which I'm in one faction. So everybody, and I know that the FCT can win, not on APC. APC's never won any election in FCT. That's the truth. I've been a founding member of APC. So ADC, we have credible candidates. And it is that platform that we're going to use to show that here, even when we are planning bad against the people, we do not go on television to boast and brag about it. We are going to show Senate.
So for the forthcoming local government elections,
yes,
no chance for the Labour Party because of its internal crisis.
Well, we'll see. To date, INEC has not uploaded anything about Labour.
I'm just concerned with
So
regard to
we don't know.
the election proper.
Well, INEC will have to upload candidates for people to vote for them. Until they do, Labour Party is in limbo.
There are two things you said that I want to take you up on. One, let me begin with your concerns around the situation with the Labour Party and how it doesn't seem as though the future holds anything strong, but in the ADC, there's likely something there for you. Now, I know that other faction, the Aburi-led faction, had given you and Mr. Obi, if I recall correctly, 48 hours to leave the party since you no longer want to. And so people now question your credibility to remain in one party and say you're working for another party. Why have you not left?
We are supporting a coalition. Excuse me. Abure, that the Supreme Court has said his tenure has ended, has no right to tell any member of Labour Party what to do. We had already suspended him and expelled him from the party. So why is he still there? We feel that we are the credible party since the Supreme Court has ruled in our favor. So why is he not respecting the judgment? There's nowhere to appeal to after the Supreme Court.
Are you going to leave the Labour Party?
Maybe I might eventually.
Because
I'm not running for anything. I'm a senator. As only the people who are running for local government right now in FCT, they are the ones under pressure to have a credible platform.
what is this coalition about? I want you to respond to concerns around why the Labour Party is mingling with certain people which the greater population describe as the ones who have put the country where they are. Some they describe as corrupt. In fact, there are those of them who have corruption allegations against them. Why is the Labour Party seen as the alternative with someone that the obedient movement regard as credible and free of corruption mingling with such people?
Well, there are times when you are, as somebody mentioned sometimes, when there's a fire, you do not start haggling about the quality of the water you want to use in putting out the fire. I can assure you from a lot of our internal meetings, and that's my personal view, may not necessarily be the official view of the ADC. We acknowledge the fact that if you want to build a new Nigeria, you're not going to do so using the bad things of the past. Secondly, we also acknowledge, and I acknowledge, that 70% of Nigeria's population is under 35. Let us even say under 40. Do you understand? So I believe, and I have said so in meetings, coalition meetings, that we are going to be the vanguard. We are going to be the minesweepers. We are going to be the people who open the gates for younger, better leaders.
Senator Kingibe, pardon me, but it doesn't answer the question on why you are mingling with
I already answered the question.
Politicians described as persons with questionable character.
Just because you have questionable character. Questionable character means we will not trust you with public office. Does not mean
you cannot help
you
us
cannot. No, it does not mean you cannot support credible people when you see them.
Is that what we're looking toward? Is that saying that Peter Obi is going to be or will only shoot for the presidential candidate option?
Well, you have to ask him that.
I mean,
all
you,
I know
you are a strong supporter of the man.
Yes,
you believe in him so much.
I believe in him.
And you also agree.
I can also tell you, personally, I believe that if Peter Obi wants to be president, and a lot of all younger people of his age who are maybe just in their early 60s, it wouldn't make sense to take the presidency and give it to octogenarians. That is my personal opinion. So even if you're starting off with a president who's not 40-year-old, but he should be, I think, going forward, reasonably young. I have always felt that my former husband, Baba Kingibe, would have made an excellent president. But if he were to wake up today and say, I'm running for president, I wouldn't support it. Why? Everything has its time. And when your time passes, you give it to your successors, younger people. It doesn't make sense that you were once a great footballer or an Olympic runner, and then you wake up at 70, 80 and decide you're going to the Olympics. No, if you feel you were that great, maybe your son has your genes and he can go to the Olympics.
Especially if you've groomed him well
exactly.
enough. Exactly.
And I believe that for Nigeria to succeed, as I have said at our meetings, certain percentage of our population are young people. 49% of them are women. Until you bring them all to the table in reasonable proportions, then you're not ready to take Nigeria to where it needs to go. Not to say that when you're looking for something, you do not need the support of your father, your grandfather, and your great-grandfather, and even that your uncle that they said was a thief, but is ready to invest in making sure that things get better. It might be his way of atonement.
How easy would it be to fight a corrupt person if that corrupt person helps you get to power?
Why not? How? What do you mean he helped? He supported. We all own Nigeria. We did not put a gun to anybody's head. Everybody feels that Nigeria could use a boost. Nobody told me, you must come and join us. I looked at it. So are you saying that if I don't want to be a senator, I don't want to be anything in 2027, I cannot go and join and say, okay, I'm supportive all the times that I supported and I wasn't running for anything or I wasn't looking for anything? Didn't change the fact that there are certain people who have retired from politics who can give you advice, who can tell their community, go and vote. There were people who don't vote, don't do anything, and they still were able to influence votes.
You know, I want you to respond to those who say this coalition is dead on arrival for two reasons. One, the selfish ambitions of quite a number of the persons in there. There's really high-profile politicians who want to be presidents. They are, by my last count, at least 4 of them want to be presidents, including Mr. Obi. And the second thing is that I'd like to think that you're also aware that the ADC is embroiled in a leadership crisis.
It can't be anymore because then all the original ADC people have resigned.
That's the situation?
Yeah, what's the leadership?
Original ADC?
Yeah, there's none.
There have been 2 voices that have been loud.
Everybody is free to say anything. No. I can tell you for a fact that nobody that was in ADC before holds any leadership position in ADC now. Case closed.
You're saying all the National Working Committee members of the ADC have walked away?
Exactly.
And handed the party to new entrants? You don't think there's going to be a legal consequence for that?
What legal consequence can there
Because
be
there are
if I tell you
there are procedures for
the procedure
new
follows?
executives.
The procedure follows their constitution. Go and look at their constitution. It does not allow for midterm conventions, but it allows if anybody resigns for an interim person to be put. So I promise you, we cannot put senators, House of Rep members, lawyers and everybody, and we've been working at this for months and nobody has checked the constitution and the legalities. That's not even the issue. I just want Nigeria to improve.
Are we on the path to improvement when you look at the state of the nation?
In some certain aspects, but there are lots of aspects that we're not.
What sort of aspects?
That we're not?
Yes.
For one thing, I feel that so many things need to change. We need to, for instance, governance is top-heavy. Extremely. 48 ministers are too many. More and more agencies when there should be less. The constitutional review has come up now to discuss whether we want 41 new states. Come on. For a country that we're impoverished. It's one thing for me to tell my children in this house, we're not going to turn on air conditioners because we are saving money. If I do not turn on the air conditioners, my children will respect it. But I cannot turn on the big air conditioner and sit in it and then tell them. So at the end of the day, let me tell you certain things that will improve the country. One, if, say, the president has the right to give executive orders, all government procurement of vehicles must be assembled in Nigeria. Do you know what that would do to our auto industry? In terms of ministries, all the MDAs, National Assembly, everybody. And we will slowly improve. I come from a generation when I have seen our leaders, presidents down, did not ride anything but made in Nigeria cars. There was a time Babangida would only ride a Porsche, and that meant every official car was a Porsche or a Volkswagen. And the people accepted it. Now, when he tells us, do not import, if the Porsche is working fine, why would you think I want to go to the stress? Mm-hmm. There was a time we did not import vegetable oil. I have eaten badly processed vegetable oil till it got to be perfect. Tin tomatoes, so many things. Now, Chinese people are importing egusi. So, certain hard decisions have to be taken. Yes, he's taken removing the self-subsidy. But removing the self-subsidy, certain other things need to be put in place. The savings, they go to the refineries. You have to be firm. You have to hold people accountable. If I give you money to fix the refineries and you don't, what have I done to you? Am I making sense? If I tell my son, do not tell a lie, okay? And he does and I beat him. Instantly, I have given his sister a deterrent. She knows if she tells a lie, I'll beat her. Part of the problem we have in Nigeria, there's no consequence for anything. Not for good, not for bad. There are lots of young people who don't even know the difference between right or wrong. I was complaining about, I need to fill out a form again. The person who filled it out originally is not here. What are we going to do about a signature? And the young person said, Madam, you go next to the High Court, they will forge it. I said, I beg your pardon. He said, they will forge it. I said, but forgery is against the law. He looked at me as if, what are you talking about? Against what law? Because he doesn't know it. So the National Orientation Agency should not be an agency for pussyfooting. It should be an agency that will go into the minds of the average Nigerians. The problem is not just leadership. The problem is also the people. I'm not blaming the leaders alone. At every opportunity, every Nigerian will try to break the law or cheat or do something bad because it has become the norm. So we need to fix that too. We need a president who can recognize that the National Orientation Agency is key to getting patriotic Nigerians and fixing the psyche of the average Nigerian. I can't be patriotic about a government that the average man feels, so what are you doing for me? I give myself water. I don't have hospital. I don't have this. I don't have that. So you have to find a way to get into his mind to make him understand that, yes, you don't have, but if you believe that you can, you will be the one to build this country that will be able to do these things. So there are certain key things that need to be done. They're not on board.
Senator Reti Kingibe, I'd like to thank you very much for your time. It's always a pleasure to speak with you on Political Paradigm.
My pleasure being here.
Well, I've been speaking with Senator Reti Kingibe. She is the chair of the Senate's Committee on Women Affairs and the senator representing the Federal Capital Territory. If you'd like to catch this interview all over, please go to YouTube and search Political Paradigm or go to channelstv.com. You can also find past editions there as well. I'm Terry Ikumi. Goodbye.